That's the thing I hear through the wall every day.
Yeah, yeah.
This week we have a very special and spontaneous talk with Wolf Kinsmen. Wolf Kinsman is a breathwork, yoga, and Native American flute instructor, and after hearing him play in the hallway, I just really love the idea of having a talk. Join me for what turned out to be a really special and interesting chat about art, earth, and where those two things meet, in the middle of the beautiful nature around Phang Vieng Laos. Even has a stone in it, or not?
Yeah, got some turquoise there.
Is it like a meaning for you, the stone?
Yeah, yeah. When I think of turquoise, it's a mixture between green. Thank you.
But
Yeah, it's a mixture between green and blue. So I think of the heart chakra and the throat. So that's how I like to play from. It's from the heart and the throat. So
wow,
yeah,
it's really special.
thank you.
Well, Wolf, it's quite a spontaneous talk, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's also quite a new for me to like do it this spontaneous, but I heard the flute and I was like, yeah, would be cool to just have a chat.
Nice.
Nice. And then I checked the website and your socials just a little bit, and I wrote it all down, but I probably all forgot about it. But you are doing so many things. Like you do
Yeah.
you're a breathwork instructor,
Yeah.
yoga instructor,
Yeah.
free dive instructor.
Yeah, I just free dive. So
You love it.
yeah, I just free dive. Yeah, and then a flute instructor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, all these have kind of intertwined. I started with music at 9 years old. So
Really?
yeah, and then I did the clarinet and the saxophone, and then from there I moved into martial arts, and then yoga is the one that actually stayed the longest. Like was with me 2 decades now. So when I practiced yoga, I was lucky enough to have good pranayama teachers and meditation teachers. So I got to learn yoga as a whole at a young age, at 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just I've been doing it, and it's kind of just naturally spilled over into my lifestyle of traveling half my life and doing yoga. So then it just intertwined.
Is it like that
Yeah.
from one thing you ran into another thing that was connected with the lifestyle and you explored it
Yeah,
kind of?
yeah, yeah, kind of like probably similar to your journey. I'm guessing like if you just kind of enjoy something, it kind of just unfolds on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Out of interest. Yeah.
yeah, the interest.
But
Yeah.
how do you go from clarinet and saxophone to yoga then? Because I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
there must have been some, or I don't know, that's more a question. Like, was there some moment that, like for you, you got interested in yoga then? Or what
Yeah.
sparked that interest then for you?
Yeah, so like elementary school, middle school, and then just the high school I went to had a band. But then in high school, I moved into the wrestling. But then I got injured, and that's where I moved into yoga.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it was more like a physical, getting rehabilitation.
Yeah,
in and stuff.
rehabilitation. And then at the same time, we had our wrestling coach taught us how to meditate as well.
Okay.
So from there, I just noticed that there was something there. It was just kind of a weird feeling. I knew I was going to teach it. Because I knew, for example, as a martial artist, you have a small window of competition to compete at a high level. But with yoga, I knew, you could just do this when you're old, So I knew I was going to stick with it off of that. And it just gave me, just like with all disciplines, like music, all arts, it's a way of really just getting to know yourself. So that's what I was into. That's what I'm into now, So it's and again, it's it's just one of those things that it's kind of like there's always growth, right? So it's not like, oh yeah, I figured it out. It's like once you get to, hey, I figured it out, that's where you're stopping your growth. So yeah, with music and all of it's all the same. It's just how I look at it anyways, a form of presence.
All right.
Yeah.
And would you say that like keeping yourself challenged and exploring kind of is what keeps it alive for you? If you say like you don't want to say I got it now. I figured out how it works.
Yeah.
But like keeping yourself a student kind of
Oh yeah.
throughout your life.
Oh yeah. If you don't, you get humbled by life, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's what I've learned is like, yeah, man, I'm constantly learning.
New
So
things. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, just getting more at ease with it, more at ease with the process of it, as opposed to. I think when I was younger, I really like the word challenge. Really want to push, right?
Yeah.
Right? But nah. I don't want to push. I wanna be in it. So I want to be in the process because I'm always in the process as long as I'm here on Earth. Because, Earth school is a process. So yeah, that's how I look at that. Yeah.
It's just trying to not like get caught into this is what I want to become, but more like this is what I want to do now or what I need to do now. Or
Yeah. Like yeah. Yeah, I'm just here to really be myself, and I'm using these, for example, music as a tool of expressing that. So it's not like I'm having to compare myself with anyone else. It's just me doing my best to honestly express myself. Yeah.
beautiful.
So yeah, it's been a trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can feel that because I'm still wondering. You played the saxophone and the clarinet,
Yeah.
and then you went into yoga. Did you still play those instruments then when
Oh
you
no.
started
So
exploring yoga?
so I always was doing a discipline. So my first discipline for 7 years was music, and then from there was martial arts for like 7 years.
You have like these phases in life where you like go full on one thing, kind of. Then?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what I've noticed is it's all one thing. It's I don't like to use the word discipline, but I guess it becomes a habit, right? A lifestyle. So immersing myself in something, that's what I'm into, right? So it went from music, martial arts, and then it went into yoga as a whole, and then music came back in. So I had a student, and then she was buying a flute, and I was like, well, I don't know if I want to buy one of those
But let me
because I
try
know it's
it
gonna
at least.
happen. I was like, because I know I have a dedicated personality. So if I do something, I really want to do it,
Yeah.
right? So that's what happened.
So you got one in the end.
I got one, and then I just got another one, and got another one. And
How
then,
many flutes do you have now then?
Oh, just three.
Three.
Yeah. So I want to get down to two. So yeah, because when you're traveling, you want to be light.
Yeah. Because you're traveling now with only this one.
Oh no, I got two. I got
You got
two
two
back.
with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got two other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then you also like because you figured that some yoga out and you got a flute, but then your
I
journey.
combined it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then your journey goes quite far because you did the breathwork training with Wim Hof. You
Yes.
did the shamanic exploration. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if I use the right words because I'm not that deep
Yeah,
in it as you
yeah.
are. With what was his name?
Don Howard.
Don Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
You
infused
really
them.
dove deep what you just said. Like if I do something or explore something, then I really go deep in it.
Yeah, and it's always I think you want to find the best people you can find when you're learning. So yeah, I infuse the music with when I hold breathwork workshops. When I train breathwork facilitators, I encourage them to use music. It just really helps, especially in breathwork, to help open up the subconscious, that dream state. So words can only, I'm sure you know this. It's music
Yeah.
gets us into that space of like maybe like less interpretation, because when we're using words, there's like room for interpretation, right? So music, I think you get more into that feeling space.
Yeah.
And so I really found, yeah, it's been like a super meditative tool for me. Like I did a lot of sitting as well, and trained up there in Nepal, Tibetan monastery.
Yeah.
And I really found where I'm at. right now is like the music is just a great way to share your meditation. You know, so like, man, like you were mentioning, you could hear me through the room, right? So it's like I've been in places and then I hear arguing or whatever, and I just like I don't care. I'm just gonna play some music,
You
and
just
then
got the flute.
I just bust out the flute, and then I just noticed the arguing stops. You know,
And then at all, it's peace.
yeah, yeah, and then with the birds love the high pitched flutes,
Yeah.
so they love to talk back with you. And I know your channel's big on nature, so
Yeah.
there's a thing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, me and my brother got a band. We call it Sonic Bloom.
Yeah.
So you're familiar with
I
Sonic
wrote
Bloom?
that down because I wanted to ask about it, because I wanted to
Yeah.
check first if it was your brother, but
Uh-huh.
the two instruments sound so cool together. And it's like, I had a talk with someone else earlier who we talked about like the 432 hertz and
Yeah.
the earth frequencies and stuff like that, which is really interesting. And you
Yeah.
hear that with these instruments as well, like they
Yeah.
bloom. But what did you want to say about it?
Yeah, these ones are running on 440. But yeah, we're on low D, right? And we like playing the 440 so we can play with other musicians. But yeah, with the name Sonic Bloom, what inspired me with that was I saw a farmer would blast classical music to his corn crops, and they were, you know, his neighbors were calling him crazy and stuff, and these crops are growing big. And
Yeah.
I was like, and it's called Sonic Bloom, so they scientifically proved it. And then it's like, it's what the birds do. So in the morning, when you hear the birds rolling out their beats,
Yeah.
they're helping the trees grow, the plants grow. And then, yeah, and then I was like, oh man, that's what we gotta call it. We gotta call it Sonic Bloom.
Yeah.
And you know, wherever I am, I think about it. You know, I think, oh man, I'm just a freaking bird out here. You know, just fluting it up.
Helping things grow and the things
Yeah.
around you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. And music is also in that sense something that really physically, literally touches you, and with the frequencies, the air moving and going through it goes through walls, so it goes through your cells, and it's quite special.
Yeah.
Apart from
Yeah.
like the emotional touchingness, like a few notes can say more than words, and it's quite something special. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel like your trips, what you just said, you stayed in a monastery in Tibet and you trained with these masters, like how do you feel that influences your musical expression, or is it the other way around, or intertwined maybe?
Yeah, everything's intertwined, I feel, and meditation, right? So with that, it really got. It's very interesting when you go into a training. You really get to see your ego. You know, you get to see like what the pushback is from learning. You know, and so that's what I was really feeling there. Like was that emotion and seeing how we're all human at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I think being a master is being yourself. So that's gonna look different than everybody else, and it's not. We all have an idea of what a master is, but it's really, I think it's about self-mastery, right? So it's about getting away from this idolizing, you know? Because, you know, when we meet some of our, if we put anybody on a pedestal, then we see the humanness of it, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm really looking for is, well, who, like, I just want to surround myself by people who can express themselves for who they are. And that's not about being perfect, right? So it's about like that authenticity of kind of like you going through stuff and you understand when you're going through stuff. You're able to understand that self-awareness of that, as opposed to just, let's say, just reacting on everything, right? So that's what I kind of look at when I'm looking for, like I guess, masters of themselves. You know, and that's all I'm trying to be is just a master of myself, just getting deeper and deeper, and these different modalities, these different arts, get you into those places to explore the unknown of yourself. So, yeah. How was your I read in the group thing you had a little DJ set last night. How'd that roll out?
Yeah, it was fun. It was right at the rooftop there, indeed.
Nice.
Yeah, it was funny because, like, if you talk about meditation and like expectations and just being in the moment and stuff, I think yesterday was my last evening DJing, so I was like excited for it because I thought like, it's the last time here. I'll ask people to come over and will be fun. But the night before, there was this whole group from an Australian wedding
Okay.
who were there. And I didn't expect it to be very wild, but that got very wild, and I spent 2 hours longer than expected, and everybody was dancing and singing along, and it was a lot of energy. And then yesterday, the last night, where I was anticipating to something special, it like didn't happen, and it was empty like 2 hours before. And so that's also like and that's interesting because I like to do the DJing for myself. I still love the playing around with the DJ controller and like thinking ahead like a few songs like, oh, what fits with this? Oh, I hear this element in this song, maybe that fits with that song. But you see there that you miss the energy then from the people that are normally there. So I enjoy the music, but I don't, you don't have the give and take of like the energy exchange that you like, that you feed the people that like the music, but seeing them enjoy that genuinely gives you the energy back of enjoying it. So that's different. No, definitely, it's a different genre as well.
Different genre.
Different genre. Yeah. So tell me a bit about like the flute. What how does it work? Because I see a few holes and I see stripes.
Yeah, so this is a 6-hole flute. It's a Native American double flute. The stripes, these are actually from my indigenous side. It's Ilocano patterns. So my great-grandfather, my grandfather, they were all rice farmers. So this is our pattern, which is the rice fields. And it represents endurance and strength.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then this is just my yoga school, so true yoga with the breath work and the yoga and the meditation. And what it represents is just thank you, which is gratitude, and just getting back to that heart center.
That's really special. Like there's 2 holes in
so
because I know like if I think about a flute, which is not like the flute that I had my first musical instrument, like I don't know what they're called in English.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, like the simple ones, and then you start exploring. Like I know those, and I know like wooden one barrel, but this looks like a double barrel almost.
It's like it's a double barrel.
What is there a function for it? Or?
Yeah, it's the drone. So I'll just play a little bit, and
please.
So I'll play a single first. And then with the drone, I like it's funny you're a DJ because I the Native American flute is one, right? So you saw me play it one. But with the drone, I like to DJ it up. So I can kind of do these like in my mind, these 90s hip hop beats, like
the stuttering effect.
Like the stuttering
That's
effect.
The drone.
Yeah, it's the drone. I like to, and then mix it out with the single.
But is it like how you position the flute on your mouth then that you get the drone in, or how did you just how do you decide to have one or with or without the drone?
So there's like 2 holes, right?
Oh yeah, you have to.
So you can just switch off to one, or you just blow 2. you just do the drone, it just has a drone there. So I like to do both, and switch off to the single. Yeah.
Yeah, you can play multiple layers and.
Yeah, layer it up.
Wow.
Yeah. And what I like about it is like it's an indigenous instrument. So when I was younger, I studied a lot of sheet music, just a lot of like understanding the theory of music. And then, I wouldn't play, and then when I got back into music again, that's all I do now is I just enjoy playing.
Yeah.
So that this instrument allows me to free flow super easy, like just create rhythms out of nowhere.
Just play around rather than technically.
Yeah, it's a less technical
grounded,
instrument. It's more. It gives you more of that. It's meant to be played around.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be with sheet music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that with guitar, I have like a background in guitar, and I feel if you had like the people you look up to on the guitar, you had like either the technical professionals or you had the emotional professionals, in my opinion. You see like these blues guitarists, like you have the super fast like riffs and super wild, but you also have the ones that just play super slow but really like strike you in the heart with like sentiment, and I feel it's more a feeling instrument as well.
Yeah. And so how do you play more in that kind of format now? Kind of like that feeling, like slower?
I think for my electronic music, I'm really searching for what I want to do with it, because I had a direction, then I really didn't feel that direction anymore, and then I've been balancing and trying out things, but I didn't really find it yet. But before with my guitar music, I just dropped it at some point because the bands fell apart and I was sad because couldn't live from music. Had a phase where I went extremely serious, like, I need to get a studies, I need to work a lot and, make money and get serious, because otherwise I will not be, able to sustain my life. And then I then I burned out and I switched the other way. Journey. But it's cool. It's cool. How do you feel like? When do you feel like music came back for you? Because you said you left music for a bit.
Yeah, like like 2 or 3 years ago? Yeah.
So it's pretty.
Yeah, and it was cool because it was almost like I had all this stuff in the garage from when I was a kid. So when I got back into it, it was just like, it's still here, So
I can pick it up.
Yeah, and so refinding it, I think that's a big thing, right? So I think the biggest thing is almost like if you have that what is it, like kind of like that kind of like habit kind of pattern, right? Like that just natural discipline pattern, then you can get back into anything.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's what happened when I got back into it. I just knew it was just gonna be like, okay, this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you find for yourself, like, how do you feel if you need to, do something every day or almost every day for discipline, or if you really want it? Because question. I feel like, it's sometimes it's hard. With guitar, I felt that you had a phase where you learned a lot and then it, it stays a bit stable for a while.
Yeah.
How do you feel for you that works?
I just want to express myself every day. So it's not like I have to do it. It's like I like to do it. So it just happens, And then I just find myself, I just carry it everywhere with me. So then it doesn't become like, oh, I have to go grab it, or it's just with me all the time.
Yeah.
And so this really spilled over with my yoga practice, because with yoga, I was obsessed with, I want to take this shit off the mat. I want to apply this to when I feel angry, when I feel in conflict with someone. I want to really see and apply the practice. So I was always like, how do I embody this? How do I embody this? And so I was always doing that. And so then when I picked up the flute, it's like, it's the same thing. It's just like, I just want to embody this instrument now. So I just have it on me all the time, and I'm just in a space to play.
Yeah.
And so that's how but I did that with the practice, with the yoga practice first, in a space to, all that stuff I practiced by myself, I have a space to apply it, to embody it. Yeah.
So it's like you practiced it with the yoga, but I'm trying to get like, is it for you
Lifestyle,
Yeah.
best word. So
Yeah.
fuck the discipline part, lifestyle.
Yeah.
So if I take on something, I want it to be part of my lifestyle because I enjoy doing it every day.
Yeah.
So, it's like, I think I've done a lot of other things in my life that weren't for me, So I've already lived on that side of the fence. So, just now I'm in a space of like, I really know what I want. And that's just to spend time with my practices. And it doesn't become a practice anymore. It's just a lifestyle again, It's not like I have to do it.
How do you feel the difference for you between because you said
When I was
like I
younger,
did things that I figured out were not for me.
Yeah.
Would you like spot the things earlier now if something's not for you? Is it something you trained, like kind of that you recognize things now if you feel like, oh, this is not it? Or is it just you feel you want to do it, so you do it? And if the feeling is not there anymore, you accept that and you do what then feels right? Or
Yeah. So let's see if we can put it simply.
yeah.
Yeah. So feeling. So it's like, I think as you get to know yourself more and more, you realize not necessarily what you want, but what you don't want. So when you feel that don't want kind of thing, you're able to get to that root faster. As opposed to if I did the opposite of, let me figure out what I want. Like, whoa, there's so much you could want, right?
Wow.
So I'm more into like, okay, this is like, do I want to get back? I remember I went back to martial arts, for example, and then boom, I was at extreme culture. I just went there for the day, and then I wrestled with some young wrestlers, and I was like, I'm still hanging in there. But then my body was tore up, and I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if it feels good, then that's how you want to go about it. But if you're forcing the grind, then I think that's a mindset kind of thing, right? Because if you love something, there is no grind. It's just what you do. Yeah.
I find it very beautiful what you say, like it's easier to figure out what you don't want, because I think now that you say it, it makes a lot of sense, because there's really infinitive opportunities to things, to pursue or chase or start this new thing or find that new thing. But
Yeah.
in the end, it's like, if you don't feel comfortable with something, then you avoid the uncomfort with it already. Maybe a bit.
Yeah. You avoid.
I also don't know if, conflict or uncomfort is per se a bad thing, because I think it's very useful for teaching these things, like that you don't want to do it. And
yeah, that's what keeps it exciting, right?
Yeah.
Like the uncomfortable parts.
yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
The uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I wanted to ask, did nature ever inspire your music? But I feel like you already kind of said with the birds.
Yeah, with the birds.
Yeah. And the other way around. I saw this video with the llamas or the alpacas in Peru.
Oh yeah.
That they enjoyed it as well, or were very curious at least.
Yeah, they're curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, animals and small children really pick up on the flute.
Yeah.
Like, it's all, where they are, they're in the present. So it's something like, the flute is like the oldest instrument. So I think it triggers something in that primal ear of ours, So yeah, with animals, my first experience was actually just playing with my clarinet back in the day, and then as a kid, and then I noticed the birds were talking back to me. I was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" So that really like that was actually the memory with music that really stood out to me.
Wow.
Yeah,
And that's a time ago.
yeah. And even with meditation, man, like animals, nature. I mean, if you're looking for spirit, then just all you gotta do is just hang out in nature, right? And that's where the miracles come. Yeah.
That's where we come from.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
That's what we are.
Right?
Yeah, we're not separate, right?
Yeah.
You know what's up.
No, 100%. I feel that that's very true. Yeah. I also feel there's a strong connection between nature, art, expression. I think that's very connected. That's also why the platform Aliens Love Earth is like why I feel so much fire for it, because I think you know the whole name resembles that. You know, for me, aliens are like creatives that have a bit of a different view on things than you know, a bit of a creative view, or dare to think out of the beaten path and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that it can be a very strong instrument also in, you know, preservation, conservation,
Yeah.
restoration, with the whole ecological crisis is going on and balances we might need to refine. And yeah, I see it with this travel so much as well. Like, you know, here we heard stories and from people here in Laos about COVID. That when it hit, all the hotels shut down, but people survived because they know how to live with the land and with, you know, the forest and the river. And I feel like that's far away in Western Europe, where I'm from, or at least, it's less present.
Yeah.
And I think art can play a strong role in connecting that. I don't know how that is for you, or.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, this thing was made to be played in nature. It's made out of nature. It's made out of wood.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, when we spend time in nature, we get back to our nature. And then I've read something recently, and I think you'd like it. But it was like a leopard's roar is different than every other leopard's roar.
What? Like
its
every
roar.
leopard, every roar, every identical.
They're all
animal is
different.
different.
No, a leopard's roar they have a distinctive roar that's different from any other leopard. So that's how I think about
It's like a fingerprint.
Yeah, fingerprint. And that's how I think about music and nature, right? So it's like, I think when we try to play someone else's music, if it's not our own music, then we're not getting into our roar, you know? So we want to like find that natural roar within ourselves. So music helps us connect back with nature. If we get back within our own nature, then we're going to harmoniously, naturally live with nature. Right. So we're going to do things that benefit nature and just go hand in hand, intertwine, without even having to do a bunch of research, man. Kind of just like feeling, hey, this place doesn't feel right, or I don't want to support like this. Like, it's just naturally going to come out, like, without even, you know,
less in the head. Like,
less in the
spend
head.
less time in the head and more like in the feeling and action.
Yeah. And that's how I think the music intertwines, right? So that intuitive.
It makes sense for you then also that it connects with your yoga practice and your breath work and other self-consciousness practices that you know, are interested in.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like we're supposed to have multiple arts to practice. Like that's just how I feel. I feel like when we practice multiple things, we get into different places within ourselves. So like if I just meditated, that would get me into a place within myself. If I just played the flute, if I do all these things, that's how I really get to really feel into different aspects of myself, you know? So by practicing different art forms, gets me into my natural way.
Yeah. That makes you rather than else.
Instead of like if I just identified as one thing, right? Like, I'm just this.
I'm a yoga teacher.
Or I'm just a musician or whatever, man. It's like, and then all of a sudden it's like, now you're being defined by yourself. You have this definition, and other people have a definition for it. But if again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, if you're just trying to be yourself, And then why are you? There's no competition, you know.
Wolf is more than.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. I mean, I feel like we're all just awareness, and then these are just our vehicles, and they got names. They have a story, you
Yeah.
know. And yeah, I feel I'm getting a little deep out here, but
I like that.
yeah,
I like that.
you know, I feel like
That's the real reason why I do the talks, because I just find it great to like
sweet.
learn and hear from people like how
Yeah.
they. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like before we were in these bodies, we were awareness in some form. I don't know. Maybe some people do know, but I don't know. And then I came into this body, and I'm awareness in this body now. And what happens after? I know I'll just be some type of awareness, and I don't know in what form. But I can count on my awareness being there, you know, so it's not going anywhere. So, yeah, like with art and stuff, I feel like that's that connection of like, it's almost like you're this awareness of self, right? You're just expressing it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
I'm curious, like I always conclude with kind of a question that's in the direction of I think there's so much knowledge and ideas out there that everyone can use to, you know, do their bit when it comes to being a bit more mindful towards nature or the planet when it comes to, even if it's like simple things like,
Yeah.
how do you say it, like split your trash, like recycle, you know, save your food, don't throw it away, eat it tomorrow, like even simple things. Do you have anything to share what, even if it's for you something very normal, it might be very helpful for someone else?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So gratitude. You eat your food just all the time, right? That's gonna really change your frequency into the highest state, I believe. And when you're in these hard places in life, is just finding that gratitude. There's always a gem in there. So if you're going through something hard, there's some type of lesson, something to grow from that that's making you stronger, and that gratitude allows you to see that. And you know, it's easy to say it
Yeah.
when we're in a good place.
Yeah.
But when you can find it in that dark
You
place,
got much.
yeah, when you're in that dark place and you can find it, that's where the magic happens. You know, because you become the light from within instead of looking for it from someone else or somewhere else. So yeah, I think that's all I
That's
share.
beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you as well, man. It was really great. I'm very happy that you were up for it and that we
Yeah.
could find some daylight still in
Yeah.
this beautiful spot.
Yeah. Right on.
Really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so
yeah,
much,
right on,
man.
brother.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really, yeah, it's a special sound.
Yeah. I love it, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Right
Really
on,
cool.
bro.
Yeah. Really cool,
Nice.
man. How long are you staying in Vientiane, actually?
Oh, until what is it? I think the 24th. Then I got a ticket to India. And so I'm excited to get up there. I saw the Himalayas in Nepal. So now I'm gonna see it up north up there. Yeah.
Are you just traveling for like holidays, or are you like also
Yeah. I'm trying for life,
visiting?
homie.
You're living
I've been,
because
you
you're
know,
then away for a few months or something,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
or are you more like living a nomadic kind of life at the moment?
I'm always looking for a home, but you know, life has its own where it needs me, kind of thing. So kind of just kind of letting go of the expectations, kind of thing, and still, yeah, just kind of seeing what will happen. So yeah, it's once I get my mind, even if I tell you something, again, life got its own plan. Yeah. So I was in Peru for 5 years, and then I was like, okay, this is it. And then,
So you're done in Peru. You're not planning to go back to Peru.
I can't say. It could happen. I love Asia, so I'm just making the best out of it here, and then just seeing what will happen, So
Tame Impala. I don't know if you know Tame Impala, the band.
no,
They have a good song about it. Let it happen.
or let it happen. Yeah, let it happen, right?
Yeah. It's easier said than done, indeed. Like in some situations, what you said with the gratitude thing. If you're like in a deep time, like a dark time, then it can be pretty challenging.
Yeah, I feel that's actually when we're supposed to be the most in the light, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of maybe like backward programming, right? So it's almost like if we think the opposite of that, we can actually moving in the right direction a lot of the times by thinking the opposite of what our initial thought is.
Yeah, you're saying like if you feel like you're in a dark place and you're getting more in a dark place, it can be a sign that maybe you're doing the opposite of that thinking and behavior, maybe. Or
Yeah, there's a time and place for all feelings. I think if you want to zoom out when you're in those hard places, right? So let's just use mourning, for example. There's a time for mourning. It's good to be in that space, but it's also good to see it as transient. So even when you're in bad places or good places, you always take a step back and see it as transient. Because it's always changing. We can sit here and meditate right now, and what we're going to observe is change, So we're going to go through our emotions and stuff, and that's what the practice is. I'm getting to know myself. And then life happens, and then it's like, where's your practice, right? How strong is your practice, right? So that's why I love, like, yoga as a whole, practicing it, with the pranayama and the meditation, as a whole, practicing it, because that really helps me in life. Is when I am going through hard times, and then to really be like, okay, let's see how much I can embody this philosophy,
Yeah, it's what I heard once, that's why yoga is called a practice and not like, I don't know, something else. But I heard that's why it's called a practice, because it's like, I think it was with meditation actually, that when I was trying to get that done, that for the first times ever in my life, that I got annoyed by myself, because I was, it's, you have to talk and the guidance saying, if you're distracted and just gently come back. And I'm like, I got distracted by this again, and by that, and by this, and by that. And then at some point, I think it was in one of those meditations, like, it's fine and it's normal. That's why it's called practice. And you just come back and just be gentle, and like, and that helps a lot, rather than like being frustrated. Like,
you're hitting it right on the nail, man. Compassion.
Yeah, compassion.
Compassion
and gratitude. Compassion and gratitude.
Yeah. It's super simple.
Isn't it like music? It's super simple.
It's super simple.
I actually both been there. It's like music, right? Like less is more, and sometimes
slowing down more.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. Cool stuff, man.
Alright, big thanks to Wolf once more for being up to chat, and a big thank you for tuning in, of course. If you have any questions for us or for Wolf, leave them in the comments or on our socials and we'll get them answered. Besides that, please give us a follow on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform, because we restore 1 square meter of landscape for every new follower. It's just 2 clicks and it really has an impact. The earth will thank you. For now, thanks a lot for listening, and I'll catch you next week. Cheers!